Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Free Enterprise fans. We've got a wild one for you tonight. This is game 2 of the round of 16 match between Infinious and Elvensorrow. Today I'm joined on Restream by Narrowcad, on tracking by Zalda, and in the commentary booth with Possum Morpheus. How are you doing tonight, Possum?
I can't complain and it wouldn't help. No, but really, it's Friday for, well, most of us. For Infinious, it is Saturday, and the Thunder from Down Under is coming in with a 1-0 record already in this here match versus Elven Sorrow. So definitely looking forward to see what side prevails tonight. Do we get an epic Game 3 showdown, or do we get some representation from the oft forgotten continent down under?
Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
I know when it comes to these sorts of races, especially with these runners of this caliber, I know for me the early game is always super exciting. Uh, right now, though, I just cannot take my eyes off of Infinius's naming scheme, and I am staring straight at chicken. Chicken.
Chicken is great. I think this is, I think it's a bunch of salads he's got. I'm all for it, even though I'm not particularly a particular salad.
Well, which salad do you prefer to start with, chicken or noodle, on this flag set?
Probably noodle would be the closest. I like noodles.
Well, I was more referencing most folks actually prefer a Porum start on this than a Rosa, but it is okay. Both white mages are your options for starting characters, and our runners, I'm sure, are going to be happy to have one. I know I'm always happy to have a white mage. Scarcer, I know you're always happy to have a white mage. We've talked quite a lot about that in the past. What other character are you hoping to see, both as a commentator, but also if you were a runner in this case?
Well, as a commentator, I want to see Sid, because Elvensorrow is everyone's favorite Sid cosplayer, and I know that's what he's rooting for. As a runner, I like to see Edge, I like to see Kane, and of course I like to see Sid.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of right there with you as far as the characters I'd like to see as a runner. As a commentator, though, someone who just ran one of these the last two nights, I kind of want to see our runners have a bit of a challenge. I want to see some Edward, some Porum, some Rydia. Give me some underpowered, overworld where the runners actually have to work for it. That's always a fun change up. A little change of pace from a lot of the very heavy power that you see in a lot of these seats. So we shall see indeed once we get started, which I reckon we are awful close to. Going to cover some of the objectives real quick. Our runners have to do 6 of the 7 you see on your screen. There's a fantastic space at the top of that list. That is because objective number 1 doesn't exist. We only have objectives 2 through 8. Got to defeat the gauntlet. Got to defeat the boss of Lower Babel, aka Keyless Tower. Got to go to Cave Bahamut on a flag set with no summon key items, so it is valueless cave value. Got to break the Dark Elf spell with the Twin Harp because everyone loves music. We got to rate that treasury. We got to drop the magma key so we can get underground now. And last but not least, Supersmith from the Forge. Looks like we do get double white mage start, some dolls, and a hook. All right, I got a question for you. You dive in hook right away to check that character?
Maybe not, because the extra walk, because if it's Yang, that restrict Yang popping up, I'm not much more for it, and it's a bit of a walk.
It certainly is. I am very curious to see what our runners do here. I know that historically, Elven Sorrow is not a fan of looting Eblin Castle, which puts him in the very small minority on this flag set for this tournament, that he usually opts to stay away from it until he can clear all the trap chests. I'm curious for him in particular if a hook changes that. Doesn't look like it, as he is doing his standard start of heading right to Baron, even going to talk to the guards, potentially at Baron Castle, or at least give a peek to him. We'll see if Rose's mom's house has anything
here. That wizard hat is interesting. That undead resist could come in handy. Might push him towards an earlier Eblin if he remembers that.
There was a set of samurai armor in Baron Inn, also Iridia there. So we're just an Edward shy of what I was hoping for a team, and nothing really good for items so far. But we'll see if Evelyn Castle pays out for Infinious here. We got a cabin, but not really much in the way of heavy weaponry or armor yet.
That cabin seems to me a bit of a taunt until I've received some drain gear, since keeping an anchor on the floor is typically ideal.
I would definitely agree with that. We get an Aegis Shield, some more Samurai armor, a Charm Rod. Honestly, like decent defensive gear, and kind of puts ogres potentially on the table. But I don't think we have a shot in the heck of killing them outside of that starting Black Sword. So our runners would have to get real creative with their ATB procking and timing it. If they're able to get those swoon procs. We'll see if Infinious is feeling frisky here, or if he opts for something slightly safer like a Flame Dog check. Although that crystal armor and the silent staff showing up also is very interesting. Infinious going to look at the Black Cat Lamia chest. I wonder if he's going to go for swoon procs right off the bat, even on these Black Cat Lamias. That could be very adventurous.
I think he has the defense for it, so even if he blunders one or two, he should be in the clear.
Oh, even better. Okay, love it. He is going for Charm Black Cat strat. So what's going to happen is when Black Cats are charmed, like most cats, they turn into jerks. But instead of being jerks at you, they're potentially jerks at their friends. And so the Black Cats will start spamming the spell Bluster at things. Bluster can either put things into a paralysis status or outright a KO status. So what Infinious is hoping here is that this Black Cat will eventually actually get a fatal to hit instead of a paralysis, and we see finally he does. And that is his method for getting through this check a little faster. And looks like he's getting what he needed, as the Black Cat targets everything else first. So Infinious being very tricky here while the cat does all his work for him. Really cool to see that.
Well, your dream of a no-power start has been foiled by that edge on Mount Hobbs, guarded by Wyvern.
Well, you say that.
Barrier.
Show me something silly, Wyvern. That's pretty silly, but Edge has enough HP to tank that. Party-wide glare is pretty spooky.
Does the party-wide glare have the same spell power as Rubicon's single-target glare?
It's the elements glare, where basically the second form of elements, it goes fire 2, fire 3 glare. That is what that glare is that Wyvern's using, and it is a party-wide glare, so it's not the same as Ruby's, but it's still pretty scary because it does go off of the magic at the spot. So it certainly would be much scarier in other places, but it did wipe out 2/3 of Elvensorrow's party, so no XP for his white mages, while Infinious gets but a ninja hat from the freebie there with Bedward.
And from the looks of things, the Black Cat Lamia chest also didn't pay out a key item. Did you catch the item that Infinious received there?
He got everyone's favorite Pinktail reward.
Ah, Artemis arrows.
Indeed. So the Artemis arrows, while not terribly useful generally speaking, could be useful against that Wyvern. It looks like we are getting swoon procs from Infinious. Again, knocking out that Flame Dog and picking up a Baron key. Boom.
You know, usually you don't like seeing the Baron key, but Infinious hasn't even stepped foot in Baron yet. The ideal routing of Baron Inn into Baron Castle is likely tempting.
Yeah, I think with an edge that becomes a lot more palatable, but without the edge, I think Baron's way off the radar. but both runners will have that edge, you know, barring something very spooky happening for Infinious here. Uh, Baron probably not going to be a problem. Not going to lie, I've already forgotten what the starting boss was. Was it Magus Sisters? I feel like it might have been Magus Sisters.
Magus Sisters was at the inn. Elvin
Ah,
showed us.
okay. Well, then I have no idea.
Oh, neither do I. I didn't see a blue robe. Oh, people were pointing out that it was dolls.
Dolls!
The tracker pointing out that it was the Calbrana dolls.
See, this is why we have trackers. They're actually doing the hard work. We're just sitting here talking like fools, not knowing what's going on. So thank you to Zald and all the trackers, you know, as part of this tournament. They're doing a phenomenal job. Another Zonk from Antlion. So outside of the Baron key, which is kind of a reward, we haven't really found much. And our runners are going to have to do a little scrambling. We do see Infinious putting those Artemis arrows to work. It does knock out about half a Wyvern's health with one shot. And yeah, goodbye Wyvern. Much cleaner for Infinious and picks up some XP on everyone that way too. Elvensorrow dropping the hoverboat next to Troya. Love to see him carry that around. Also signifies one of two things. Either he's going to meme and bring the hovercraft everywhere with him on the overworld, or he's going to look to do a very early hook dive. I'm on board for either one. What do you think he's going to do?
I'm hoping he does the hook dive. Go for the more aggressive play. He's down a game. Maybe he thinks he needs to, or maybe he is just going to meme.
Might be a little bit of both. I know I've spoken with both of these runners quite a bit, and Elvensorrow, before this match ever started, you know, before even the first game of their set, had said something to the effect of, I've never beaten Judge Infinious, and I really hope his prior opponent is the one to beat him, because that gives me a better shot at getting to the next round. And I thought that was interesting, because if you watched round one of this, they were very close. And I think we're going to see the same here today. I do think historically Infinious is probably the favorite, but Elvin has put in a ton of work to get where he is, not just in this tournament, but, you know, as a community member in general. So very excited to see how this all plays out and how risky, you know, you kind of stated, will Elvin gamble being down a game? How risky does he play it?
And on Infinious' side, we've got Dr. Dialogue in probably one of the most annoying spots from where he, you know, jumps out at you and says, I'm going to waste your time a little.
Better to have Luge early where you can one-shot all the forms than to have Luge late where you're sitting there having to do 3-4, you know, hits per entity of Luge. So I think that's a very good find for our runners, honestly, and we do still see Elvensorrow just bringing that hoverboat along with him.
And here Infinious is doubling back into the Baron loot, making sure, because he knows Elvin's gonna loot that early. He wants to keep the avenues Elvin has to get up against him closed.
Yeah, it's a very defensive play to basically try to do what your opponent is doing, but better or more optimally or more efficiently. So very heads up by Infinious to scout, you know, to kind of cut off those avenues for defeat, if you will, and just try to race Elvin at his own game and simply do it faster. So love the homework that's been done by Infinious there. Very heads up to do so. We'll see if Elvin makes any similar adjustments. You know, if Infinious has any sort of patterns or trends that, you know, we haven't realized, but Elvin may have seen. I know Elvin's in particular, his opener going to Baron is very different and therefore very easy to spot. But we'll see if Elvin's done his homework and picked anything up on Infinious as well. This will be interesting heading into Baron for Infinious. I think he has a Charm Rod and the starting Black Sword, so should have enough Wisdom boosting gear with Edge to wipe out the dolls in one shot. And I think that also is part of what makes this check a little more alluring than the average. Being able to just one-shot what would be an otherwise annoying fight, as well as potentially being able to get a gated character, specifically a shot at a Fusoi.
Yeah, with Edge already in the party, Dark Knight Cecil isn't quite as alluring, but Fusoya does the job so much better. Well, until you try to cast Stone off slot.
Yeah, but we don't have to talk about that. But on the throne here for Infinious, we have a blue robe, 50% chance it's Senator Crocodile, and required 50% chance it's free. I see a delay there. That tells me this is a gauntlet. We get some guards, some hydras, some crocodiles, some senators, probably a filibuster or two. Folks, I hope you enjoy Baron Castle, because we're going to be here for a hot second. And both runners likely going to be in this gauntlet at the same time, just Infinious up probably 3 to 4/5 of it.
Elvensorrow did purchase an Earth Hammer from the Baron Weapons Shop, which if he elects to use it, might make some of these fights a little quicker.
It'll make a lot of these fights quicker. It won't make the gauntlet quicker, though, or the dolls. Well, it won't make the dolls quicker, I should say. It might make the gauntlet faster. So a lot of these enemies don't have a ton of health. But the dolls, if he goes to use it there instead of Flame, he's going to end up leaving the back 3 up. So hopefully for his sake, he uses Flame on the dolls and then Earth Hammer on the gauntlet, and not the other way around, or he's going to be sad. We do see Flame coming out. Only 410 on that bottom doll. We need an attack quickly. Thankfully, that Cal had an attack queued instead of changing into Calbrana, so Big Doll crisis averted, as Infinious is still getting through this gauntlet. Currently has a worm waving at him. I don't know how it does that, as it has no arms, maybe a tail, or some other appendage.
Maybe he's just waving his head.
Oh, that could be it. I was thinking maybe like a tongue, or I don't know. All sorts of things were coming off that worm. Got like this yellow stuff coming off its head. Weird looking. But it's okay, we won't judge. Aqua Worm Swoon Proc. Love it. And as Elvensorrow starts the gauntlet, Infinious will be finishing it up with those double Aqua Worms. That is objective number 2. Defeat the Fabul Gauntlet. Wow, words. Hello. 1 objective down for Infinious, and picks up a Dark Knight Cecil. What are you thinking, Scarcer? Does that DKC change your routing at all?
I don't think so. DKC, the Accursed Mountain may not be probably off the cards with the gauntlet found for our runners, unless Infinious is playing particularly defensively.
It will be interesting to see both runners getting a little trolled by inventories, one getting an antidote, the other getting a unicorn, neither wanting either. Baron does give us also a rat tail, so that is something else to do before diving underground. So we are going to see a lot of hoverboat being moved around on both runners once they are done. But looks like Infinious is going to go check Antlion, and he will be rewarded with, I think, was like the wizard robe or hat or samurai hat or something that was useless.
Wizard hat, yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess he has 2 of now, so yay. Now, Tracker's all pointing out the reward is a reset, and I could not agree more.
But what if Fusoya's on the hook route? Don't you want the spells on him?
That's a future runner problem.
Ah, and because Infinious is in the future, he's already sorted it out. I get it.
Exactly. Poor Edge, not even doing enough damage to take out the king. Rosa doing more damage. Feels bad, Edge. Do better. There you go. Takes out the queen. 1500 XP and a reset likely incoming, while Elvensorrow is on his way through Baron. Going to get his rat tail. And we shall see where our runners go from here. Has either one of them done Fabul yet?
I don't think so. That'd be an interesting fade to pick.
So Infinious then is basically up one trap chest in Eblin, and they've otherwise done the same things, if I'm not mistaken. Elvin has already launched a hoverboat, of course, so he is going to get that rat tail turned in a little sooner. But I do believe that makes them even outside of that one trap chest. So we'll see if Elvin waiting on Eblin, doesn't actually end up being a punish, because he will have more power to deal with everything there. Or...
Ooh, Earth Crystal. That's lovely.
Or... a distraction.
Oh, but that reveals that Baron was in fact hard required this seed, gating 2 objectives.
That is true. Baron hard required having both the gauntlet on the throne and the rat tail, which leads to the Earth Crystal. So no Baron, no party this seed. Very curious to see, do we get Treasury, or do we get Treasury and a completion of the Tower of Zod? I wonder if we get some divergence from our runners, knowing Gauntlet is gone, and you have 5 perfectly reasonable characters here. This will be very interesting. The one thing we're missing for both runners is Exit, and Rosa does get that from doing Zod.
Well, Porum does get it by level up, and the XP on the hook route should be more than enough, which would be which should be their reasoning to fade it if they choose to fade it.
You bring up a very good point, and even though I think Porum is the better white mage on this flag set, I still forget she exists sometimes, and that is just a me problem.
Well, she is rather short, so if she, goes behind a low counter, you might not see her.
That's true. Hides behind a crystal armor or a cat claw or something like that. Infinious already has Exit, and he's leaving, so I think we're getting divergence here. I think elvensorrow are going to be climbing this tower, and I think Infinious is going to be heading underground. So if this Tower of Zod has value, I don't think Infinious is ever going to get it. I think this is a now or never. So I think for Infinious, or if you are a fan of Infinious, you are hoping beyond hope that Zod does not have value in the form of an objective. Because Infinious will never get it.
He might get it, but only if it ends up being a required darkness crystal.
Which is still very scary, because it would be a last location darkness crystal at that point, and that never feels good.
I know how that feels.
Me too. But we have Infinious taking out the Staleman's Skull chest, gets a tower key. Elvensorrow finding 3 red robes. We've already seen a bunch of blue robes. I don't think we've seen any purple robes yet, but now we're seeing a couple of red robes. That's the Dark Imps, 9,000 HP here total. Going to be 3,000 HP per Dark Imp, and they're going to punch reasonably hard. This is the Vanilla Magus Sister spot, so the magic kind of low. The attack power higher than you'd think, because they actually wanted the Magus sisters, specifically the middle sister, to be able to land punches. So it is a little bit spooky as we see more swoon procs coming out from our runners. Infinious is crying with Porum. Now, why is that, Scarcer?
Well, the cry command from Porum lowers one of the enemy stats. I forget the exact name, but it's effectively what's referenced to see whether or not Edge can successfully steal an item from them. So when you cry, you're more likely to steal things from your enemies because they are not looking at their pockets and instead worrying about the crying child.
Makes sense to me. It is the $2F stat. There you go. There's your Free Enterprise trivia today, kids. $2F is the stat that it looks at that cry lowers so that it makes it easier to sneak. It was originally supposed to be, I don't know, something else. I've heard like it was supposed to be a morale stat, and then I heard it was supposed to involve enemies running away, and a couple different things that it's tied to. I don't actually know beyond the lore of it being a wonderful meme for us, as so many things are. And this is the OMG tournament. This is the Omnidextrous Memers Guild. We gotta at least know some of our memes. And that's a good one. $2F. Heck of a meme. Drain Spear, though, that is not a meme. Anchors all around now.
Is the vanilla Drain Spear the Mad Ogre chest or the Black Hat Lamia?
You're asking the person who's played vanilla one single time, and that was after playing the rando for like a year to 18 months, so absolutely no idea.
Alright, I'm just gonna look it up then.
I'm sure one of our wonderful folks in chat knows the answer, along with the Google machine. So we'll see who's faster, you or chat.
Oh, probably chat.
Chat says the Mad Ogres are an elixir in vanilla. Black Cat Lamia may be the answer. We have, hold on, black belts and headbands for sale. That is very interesting. And dwarf axes. That is an absolutely loaded hook route shop. I would shop in there, sell everything I had, buy a whole bunch of stuff, and never look in another shop again. What a shop. Incredible. And on elvensorrow's side, we have a dupe Cecil and a dupe Rydia. Not super surprising, because we've already seen 5 characters. But no Fusoya would be the big reward. We'll see what the boss is here. This can be a scary spot. Meanwhile, Infinious finds Leviathan, and that could be huge underground as well. While elvensorrow finds Ogopogo. This is not a particularly pleasant spot for Ogopogo, but thankfully he is anchored, so should be able to get through this just fine. And meanwhile, Infinious fighting the Staleman while elvensorrow is zerking through the Ogopogo. We shall see who is able to successfully get through their fight first. Looks like the Staleman go down first, and so Infinious is going to show us the reward from the Staleman trap chest, just as elvensorrow gets to crumble on Ogopogo. Another crystal armor, no shortage of heavy armor in this seed.
I'm surprised he went in there fast anchored. He decided that the risk of getting slept was less than the reward from doing the chest a little faster.
So I just want to say I'm excited.
Yes.
Here's an Edward. More importantly, we don't have any super duper power overwhelming yet. We are very strong after buying black belts, and we have moderate weaponry. But that was a Kainatsu on the hook route. You best have your lit 1 timings, or else you're going to have a bad day. Wave from Kainatsu there is brutal.
The Blizzard Spear will help, and that was just a Stardust Rod from Zod, so I imagine Elven might be feeling a little behind now.
Yeah, that's that's likely going to cause Elven to do stuff, and to do things that you would probably not normally do, because he probably knows that Infinious is going to fade. that the pressure is really on Elven to gamble if he doesn't think he can beat Infinious in a straight line. And if Elven takes the gamble on Earth Crystal and it doesn't pay out, it probably also means he needs to gamble elsewhere. So I wouldn't be super surprised to see Elven go through and end up, you know, getting a Darkness Crystal and immediately going to the moon and just hoping beyond hope that the answer is there. Be very interested to see how it plays out, but I think that we're going to get some pretty wild stuff out of Elven now.
At the very least, it looks like both of our runners have faded for Pool. They've said it's a stinky place and they don't want to go there until they can turn in their pans.
Yeah, there's a small issue with that, though.
Oh, them not having the pan?
That's the small issue.
That's a future problem.
It is. I mean, the future is going to be now in like 5 minutes for Infinious, but yeah, it's definitely a future problem. A lot of runners looking to route things in very efficiently. Things like routing in full tower, since we're going to have the tower key getting underground. You know, it's one of those things where you want to make sure you're getting through as many checks as possible that are all in similar locations, so you don't have to do what we call double dipping. Anytime you have to visit one spot on either the overworld or the underground or wherever it is multiple times, oftentimes that is losing time. What's not losing time is that was an adamant rock popping out of the 4 Mad Ogre chest. So we have a whole lot of stuff to do, and suddenly we are only 2 key items basically from go mode here. So very generous seed on the required key items so far.
Was the tower key here or at the Stalemate Skull? Because I'm wondering if Elven might be fading that as well.
I believe it was Staleman Skull. I think the double Staleman chest was a crystal armor, and then the adamant rock from the Mad Ogre, the 4-pack. But it does look like Elven's going back for that Staleman Skull, so he will not be down that tower key, which is good for him. Potentially. It could be a giant zonk and nothing, or chain into something like Luca, which leads to nothing, and it would save him time by not actually doing this. But you never know, and this is a very hard one to fade, especially when you have characters like Porum, like Rosa, who want that XP to get Blink, to get Zerk, to get Cure 3 on Rosa, since she learns it pretty early. This is one of the hook routes that exists. Well done, Neruda. Bravo. First Shuri stream rolls a nightmare hook route. Round of applause. Clapping for you.
Indeed. This is wonderful.
We're probably fine, except that Edge only did 350 damage. Oh no. Oh dear. We might be in trouble.
Is his Edge back road?
There's 1,000. That's like an Ogreax Blizzard Spear, maybe?
That is okay. Ice Brand Ogreax.
Looks like Porum has enough armor on that she's going to be able to blink everyone through this. So yeah, I think Infinious is going to get through. It's not going to be fast. And this is actually going to be very interesting for the turtle. What is our plan to nerf the wave? Because Rydia, if she is in the middle, you're not going to parry around 4 times to get to her. It almost feels like we need to anchor someone else and then try to get a lit one-off with Rydia. I'm curious to see how Infinious handles this. Unless we have like a Thunder Rod or something. One of the other cool things you can do is if you had a Siren here, you could actually go through, Siren up a green dragon, and then steal a Lit Bowl. Which, thank you, John Burkhead, trying to get ahead of me, stealing my strats in chat. But we'll see what we have here, what we're able to do, And looks like we have Bacchus o'clock happening.
Yeah, Infinious did take the extra time to steal more Bacchus from the Mad Ogres. Perhaps this was his plan from the very beginning.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can tell you right now, without any thunder weaponry, without a way to knock down this first wave, everyone is down here except Edge. And if it high rolls, Edge is also gone here. This is very scary. So I think we're probably still in the 700 to 800 range on this wave. Yep. And this is unfortunately going to have to be a reset for Infinious. There's just no way he's going to be able to get through this.
And did he save after taking out that evil wall?
He did not.
That's rough.
What's rougher is that I don't even think elvensorrow's Rydia has lit 1.
No, elvensorrow's Rydia knows Chocobo, and that's it.
So yeah, this is a thing. Again, bravo. So I wanted something gnarly for our runners, and I dare say, Nevercad, you have delivered, and I do thank you for that. But yeah, this is going to be real spooky. I think on Infinious' side, having access at least to lit 1, he needs to anchor with someone else and be able to drop their agility as much as he can and get a single lit 1 off. If he can knock down the first wave, he's good. On Elvin's side, I don't know what he has for lit, but that would be kind of all he'd be able to do. A blitz whip? Okay.
Which doesn't cast any lit, but it's
right.
The damage for the super effective for the wave phase.
Problem is, it's only a 2x, so only a 2x damage is just not great. The issue is, like, Edge doesn't even learn Blitz until... Oh wait, no, does Edge
right before
Blitz
then.
After? Okay, yeah, Edge learns Blitz from the evil wall, so, okay. And that's the same timing as Quake. So in theory, you could have Rosa self-cast Zerk, and as soon as you see the punch, you Blitz, and it should get it on the wraparound. So if Rosa's in slot 2 perfectly anchored, and Edge is in 3 and blitzes, while Rosa Zerks herself with a Blizzard Spear and Ice Brand, it should nerf it in time with a Blitz, in theory. Doing agility math on stream and hitting like every checkbox all at once with that, I'm happy.
And now I'm just wondering whether either of our runners are doing that calculus.
See Infinious moving his party around. The Drain Spear is coming off of Rydia and going onto Porum here. Nope, going on to DKC. Also has a Dwarf Axe, so he can get everybody all the way down anchor-wise. Making sure that his Edge is back road as well. So Infinious should have a decent setup here. Looks like Cecil had dropped to 0 agility, so had to put a Ninja Hat on to get him 3. And that should be enough with a Black Sword on Rydia to get her to RA1, which it looks like that's potentially what he's going to do here, yeah. So I think Infinious has the right idea here. We just got to see if he can execute it now. While elvensorrow, having already done the Tower of Zot and zonking out of that, he's going to be right on Infinious' heels here. So this is really going to come down to a battle of execution on what is one of the gnarlier hook routes that we've seen, in this tournament. And just imagine for a second, what if we didn't have Edge?
We'd be going up the accursed mountain. Because the only way really would be to make sure Cecil has quite a bit of HP for this, right?
He does. He would get HP fairly quickly. Alright, this lit one needs to come out now, Infinious. That is going to be too late, unfortunately, I think. Maybe not, though. In slot 3, maybe it gets buffered enough. Nope. Unfortunately, this is not going to fire in time. So even though the lit one goes off and it's going to say the wave is dispersed, this lit one needed to go off after Edge's first swing in that cycle, not the second one. So wave is still queued. Everyone is dead except Edge. And unfortunately, this is going to be another reset for Infinious here. Very tricky timing. Well, although that is a ton of damage now coming out from that Edge. Hold on.
Do you think it might be enough?
I think he's fine. He's going to get 2 more swings here. They're not going to be 2x, but he might survive a wave and then push into Shell. Yeah, there's Shell.
There we go.
So Infinious is going to get through. One more swing will do it. Alright. Well done, Infinious.
And in the meantime, Elvin actually wiped once to this evil wall. His damage wasn't quite enough. It looks like he's through this time.
Yeah, he got some pretty bad rolls his first go on that evil wall, and was not able to get through it, but does get through the second time, and we shall see what he does. We have Blitz Ogre. Now, one of the big differences I'm seeing here also, I don't see any of those black belts on elvensorrow's side that Infinious had. And so, Elvin doesn't have Bacchus, doesn't have a source of lightning damage.
Well, he has that Blitz Whip. That's my double.
This is going to be rough because Elvin also did not save after that their evil wall. And the problem here is, even if Elvin gets through this initial burst, which is possible, Edge going to be the only one alive, dealing like 3k a swing. My fear is what happens when we take away the 2x bonus damage, when it gets into the remedy phase. Do we have enough to push through when we get to that point? Or do we get stuck remedy locked?
I don't think so. I think he's remedy locked because he's swung for like with the combination of whip and axe accuracy. This is not great damage.
Yeah, we're about to see a wave here. If this wave does less than 290, there's a chance. 198, so we need to look at damage here because it's going to heal for 2,520 damage every time it remedies. That was 1,000 damage hit. That's a 1330 hit. So this is going to now remedy for 2520, which means Elvin is going to need some big rolls to get through this. There's a 1610, you'll love to see that. But he needs to chain a bunch of, 13 to 1400 or more hits together.
Another 16, so he's already damaged off that one remedy.
Yeah, with these damage rolls, oh boys. Okay, the 700 got him there. I was about to say he was pot committed there, to use a poker term for our friends out there, and it was a very scary pot commit. So elvensorrow gets through by the skin of his teeth, the hairs on his chinny chin. Granted, he has a glorious, luxurious beard, so, more hair there than he got through this fight with. But does ultimately make up a little time on this hook route. Infinious is up 2 trap chest and babble and a cutscene, and Elvin has done all of Zoc, so ultimately Elvin has been more efficient this seed so far. while doing more content, but is a little bit behind.
I suppose the answer does depend on what they get, but do you have any idea of where runners might be going after the tower?
I think in Infinious' shoes, Sylph becomes very attractive because he has Leviathan. I don't know if Elven got Leviathan or not, but Elven has a Stardust Rock, which means edge blitzing is something that exists as well. And I think I did actually just see the Leviathan orb in Elven's inventory as well. So I think we have runner parity on that. So we should be fine. But that's only if we bring Rydia up for Elven. He may just be going the route of Stardust Rod, Charm Rod, Sork Robe, Blitz Strats for Sylph. Both runners, though, may opt to save Sylph for 10 key items. It'll be very interesting to see where they go, but I think Feymarch is probably the next destination after the tower, assuming we get nothing of value from all of the tower, and then Sylph from there.
And it looks like the trap chests paid out a bunch of nothing. I saw a ribbon for Infinity, and there's the ribbon.
I mean, the ribbon is not bad. We have crystal armors to do it, but the ribbon also gives you breath protection, so it's not the worst thing to have. It's also instant death protection in case we come across a Golbez. That is one boss we've not yet seen, so we should be fine. But it's nice to have a ribbon rather than not have a ribbon. Chat was saying it was Dark Knight Cecil at the top of tower. It is, in fact. DKC is free up here. The Dark Waves will do somewhere between 300 and 400, and Edge can basically toss a Cure 2 on himself. Everyone else will die, and you'll get through the fight just fine. So our runners are well equipped to take on this fight solely because Edge exists.
Does Elvensorrow's Edge have enough to just tank it?
Yeah, at 1277, certainly.
Oh, I went to the wiki to reference the wonderful spreadsheet there that has all the min and max rolls for Dark Knight Cecil, and the max roll for the Lugae slot is 344 damage. So even Infinious has had enough HP.
I thought it was a little more than that, but that is good to know. Another Zonka Ninja Hat. Not what we want, but that is objective 3, both in number on the board and quantity completed for Infinious. So that does put him a Darkness Crystal and either half a Forge, the Magma Key, or Twin Harp. Some combination of those items away from completing the seed. So still hopefully a ways to go from our perspective, because we want a nice hard-fought race. Maybe the Darkness Crystal shows up, nothing else does. Bimmy and Jimmy is hard required. I don't even know if that's possible anymore. I guess it is if they have to Twin Harp and something behind that, so that's kind of what we're hoping for at this point. I want to see the moon, y'all.
The moon is a wonderful place. Made of cheese, I hear.
I do like me some cheese. So Infinious is about to show us the reward from the Super Cannon room, that tower key, while Elvensorrow is taking on this Dark Knight Cecil. Gonna get his ninja hat from the top of the tower, but the bottom of the tower, that is going to provide us with one Zeus Gauntlet. The sad thing about that for our runners is that makes 10 key item Sylph seem a whole lot less of a possibility. The entirety of the tower fully zonks, 6 key item checks, 0 key items gained. It means that you're not getting 10 key items Sylph, barring something very, very odd happening. So looks like Infinious just saying, okay, we learn Leviathan. We gear up for war with the small child. We anchor our Dark Knight Cecil now and go do battle. There are definitely seeds where Dark Knight Cecil could be your sweeper. This is not one of them. I don't think we have a combination of weapons that even gets close to 255 attack right now, and we sure as heck don't have the heroine robes to get enough multipliers to put him into play. So I think anchoring Dark Knight Cecil is very reasonable here.
And thematic. The Dark Knight knows what he did.
Also true. One might say Dark Knight Cecil and anchoring could just be a package deal. Danger, Will Robinson. Infinious did not get the Leviathan buffer. Does he dodge enough attacks? He does. Better lucky and good than just good. So is able to get through. Probably a bit spooked by that, but that's okay. Gets the key item check and 22,000 XP for Rosa and Iridia, and he picks up a Protect Ring. So another Zonk. Where, oh where have the key items gone?
Perhaps Mount Ordeals does actually have the answer. That would be lovely to see both of our runners fade Ordeals, and it's required.
Can I interest you in a samurai bow from the freebie? The hits keep coming.
If only I could are there.
Here would be the most interesting thing. What if Ordeals has darkness?
Well, then we know the Magnum Key would be down here, because
Or
Force Hook, Magnum Key has to be gated underground.
We are still missing a Luca key and a Pan.
They could be up there. That would be great.
Darkness on Ordeals would make this seed more interesting. And it's already been very interesting, but it would make it more interesting than would be even reasonable. Also, we see Elven now gearing up for war in Sylph Cave, and this is with Angry Edge Go Burr, or Bzz, by way of Blitz. So Edge is going to be doing some ninja magic here. If y'all haven't seen this before, this is a fun one. Enough wisdom gear, and you can turn Edge into an absolute nightmare of a magic caster. You're going to see, 2,000 to 3,000 damage blitzes here. And a lot of that is driven by the fact that Elvin was able to get through that Tower of Zod and pick up that Stardust Rod. So he's rocking like plus 30 wisdom on this Edge. We're going to see some ghosts, some mobiles, some dark trees all having very bad days. The ghosts have like 1,200 health, the mobiles have like 1,900, the dark trees are 1,800, and they're all gonna, well, they're gonna go buzz. A defense sword from the Toad Lady, another Zonk. Oh baby.
I think that's actually plus 40 wisdom on Elvensorrow's Edge. He's got a tiara on too. He's a pretty princess.
Indeed. Iridia, eat your heart out. Be jealous. Edge is a zapping everything here. That was like, well, there's our Darkness Crystal. That was like 2,800 damage average, by the way, off of that Blitz. A meaty Blitz. Do hope we have an Ether 2 or an Elixir, though, because Blitz does cost 25, and Elvin's only got one more cast of it left after this.
Well, he only needs one more cast, because you could switch over to a melee setup for the bottom 3 chests, right? There's a Crystal Sword. There's your melee setup.
Yeah, the Crystal Sword helps. I do like to do the bottom left chest with the double Dark Tree, double mobile. I still like to do that one with a Blitz setup.
Especially a Blitz setup like this. I'm jealous.
Yes.
Why was this in my seats?
But definitely for the double mobile and double centipede chest. Oh, there's a heroine robe too. Nice. You want to make sure that you can pivot people over to do things. I think we are just going to get that pure physical now. Yeah, looks like we're fully pivoting over. No more edge go boost. Infinious showing us, hey, there is in fact a Ruby in this seed. But Ruby is not weak to ice until he first opens up his cape. And so we hit him with a Blizzard Spear a little bit too early on Infinious' side. So a little bit of a flame counter though. Nothing really to be worried about. And Ruby go by. Centipedes go goodbye. A Luca key from the Fabul defense.
Magma key in the back of Sylph. Poison treasury required.
That also means we are a Legend Sword or a Twin Harp from Go mode. Things have escalated quickly.
And Sheila giving out the wrong sword. It's just a Ninja Blade, which in this flag set is rather underpowered.
Yeah, Ninja Blades, Murasames, Masamenes, all of those terrible weapons for attack. Murasame is the best ninja, or traditional edge weapon because it gives agility reduction. So yeah, that's a fun one. And we'll see on Elven's side here. Is he going to keep going to war with his edge, or is he going to turn him back into a Zap Ninja? Time will tell. He is doing some equipping here, making Porum a very sturdy white mage. And we do see Infinious diving into Luca here. We have Elvensorrow going to take out the mobiles first. Very smart because they're the ones that cast Breath, and that's annoying. The Dark Trees, they are mages. If you have Silent Staves, Mute Knives, anything like that, you can bop them down pretty easy. And looks like Elven is going to be through this chest without too much worry, but I am interested to see what this Luca key has.
Well, it can't be the Baron key. And the Gauntlet can't be here. I suppose it could be half a forge.
Let me ask this, if it's a pass, how keen are you on walking it out?
Walking, not so much. Warping, yes.
Meanwhile, Elvensorrow going to show us the last chest in the Poison Treasury, and we have an Artemis bow, so Poison Treasury definitely required. We shall see how long it takes Infinious to get there, because Elven may just simply opt to fade this Luca check, maybe thinking I need to do something to catch back up from the Zot Zonk. Meanwhile, we know that these two runners are still very close. Just a Goon Spear, and that is yet another Zonk on Infinious' side. So while Elvensorrow is up to 8 key items, and it'll be 9 once he gets the Luca key, Infinious gonna have to visit that Poison Treasury at some point. Going to do Dwarf potentially, and that could also be an avenue for Elven to catch back up or even pass Infinious if he were to fade this as well. Infinious taking a route that does not involve sweeping may have been a little spooked by doing that warrior fight and not getting the Leviathan off in time.
So for Infinious to continue fading the back of Sylph, he would need to get the pass, a Twin Harp, and the Legend Sword, right?
No, because the back of Sylph has Darkness and Magma. He can't fade it.
It's due. He can't fade it.
We have hard required Baron and hard required Poison Treasury. He simply cannot fade it. He needs to hope that this Dwarf Castle has like a Legend Sword, for example, or Elven has the potential to run away with this, even though Infinious is technically ahead right now, based on checks done and having faded Zod. That window is rapidly closing based on where Elven goes. I think the ball is in Elven's court as long as Dwarf doesn't have exactly the legend sword or the twin harp. If it has the pass, it's more neutral, but this is very, very interesting. This is a great place for Val. Very few physical evade rolls here, and can also be hit by magic. Honestly, one of the better spots you can get Val at. Really nice to have her here and not the first spot of Dwarf. Dwarf 1 Val is awful.
It seems that Dwarf 1 is just a painful spot that is mitigated by, in vanilla, being a very weak boss.
Yeah, so one of our good friends, Martin Broadcloak, has referred often to the Dwarf 1 spot as the baby Ogopogo spot, because all the stats are obscenely high for where you find it relative to your power when you're first getting underground in a traditional free enterprise seed. Also, before I finish that thought, elvensorrow lands in the crater, does a little jig for us. Well done, sir. So yeah, finishing that thought, the Dwarf 1 spot has a lot of attack power. It has a lot of magic, and that's all to make the dolls a little punchy in vanilla and to land the spells with the big doll. So it makes sense from a vanilla perspective, but man, does it hurt when you end up in the rando. And just a package from Dwarf, that is not what Infinious wanted to see. So we have a game on our hands if Elven fades either Luca or Dwarf here.
I think he might, considering this routing decision, he might do Luca. If, you know, he faded for Bool and now he's got a... Or you could say, well, if this was required and Infinious did it, he's behind and needs to do something else to get ahead.
Yeah, the thing about this check would be if this yields Luca, and it does, you know, in Elvin's case, he may very well look at it just how you stated, that, okay, yes, it's a Luca key. I could go peek it, but if that has value, Infinious is already in go mode. Because Elvin is a Twin Harp or a Legend Sword shy. And if he's just now doing for Bool, he may very well have that logic of, well, if it's there, I'm already dead. So he may simply say, can't do it, I'll take the key item. You know, that'll get me to 9 key items, and then up to the moon we go. That's going to be the real moment of the seed here. Because if Elvin can get away from Luca and Dwarf, he would objectively be in the lead at that point. Ordeals pending. That is also still a major thing that we have no idea what is on the Accursed Peak.
Well, unless it's exactly Twin Harp holding the Legend Sword, our runners will have to go to the moon.
Wouldn't that be cool, though, if it was hard required Baron, hard required Ordeals, hard required Poison Treasury? And I say cool because I'm not playing the seed.
Yes, cool because we're commentating the seed and not playing it. I imagine Elvin and Infinious might have some words for Narakat at the end of this.
And those words would totally be restream appropriate. Yep, for PG audiences of all kind. elvensorrow.
Well, once they say on stream for sure, but behind the scenes, maybe not so much.
Yeah. elvensorrow launching the whale might be making a few fades here. This could also be launch the whale, think about how he wants to route, think about what he wants to fade, knowing that he's got Luca and Ordeals. Does he want to fade them? Does he want to do them? This gives him time to think. So...
my favorite cutscene, because it gives you just so much time to think.
Yes.
Do I want to go to the Accursed Mountain, clean up the overworld? Which, Elvin likes to clean up the Earth. So I imagine he might go peek the Accursed Mountain. It's just right there. You just hang it right.
Here's the thing, though. Infinious also likes to clear the Earth. So if they both know each other likes to clear the Earth, Elvin's the one that's got to gamble. And Elvin is a gambling man, it does appear tonight. He is off to the moon, which, barring value on Ordeals, means Elvin is now up a lunar cutscene and 3 sylph boxes on Infinious. to no fault of Infinius's, by the way. The only big difference is going to be a package which will give Infinius 10 key items for the moon, whereas Elven's only going to have 9. So XP difference could come into play, but for right now, Elven has moved in front in this here race for the first time since he went up Zot and it's on. Scarcerer, once we're done with this hairdryer chest, are you feeling the eyeball?
Of
what
course,
are you thinking?
Of course, I'm feeling the eyeball. Well, I think the ideal play would be to complete Cave Bahamut, save, then go to the Giant of Babel to peek the last arm chest, our beloved eyeball.
Definitely makes sense. I think I would be doing the eyeball after this as well. Maybe route in Cave Bahamut, but on Elven's side, you know, we don't have a pass. We're looking at a 9 key item Cave Bahamut. Maybe try to do it with 10. Get a little bit of extra XP. That's, you know, all interesting things to consider. Infinious, I hope you have breath protection for that Rydia, because that Leviathan is not going to fire in time. Cross our fingers. Okay, good, and good. Nice.
Just a piece of Hanzo steel for Elven there, from the hairdryers.
Yep, just more ninja blades. Eh. And Elven may be doing a peek here for a Fusoya before he goes anywhere. Or may just be saving out here, anchoring up his Rydia, and then opting to go to the giant. His Drain Spear he is struggling to find. It is on the right side of his inventory, halfway down. He does come across it. Elven 10 minutes ago was able to defeat the inventory boss. Well done. Infinious going to launch the whale now as well. Infinious has left no stone unturned on the overworld, with the exception of one very accursed mountain. Do you think we get a peek of it? Or do we think that he's fading the Scarcer? What's your thoughts?
I think he's fading it. I think he probably feels he might be falling off that, you know, he tried to fade the poison treasury and it was required. He needs to cut a corner to make sure he's on pace.
Definitely makes sense. We see elvensorrow sees a Yong, says goodbye to a Yong, and elvensorrow says no eyeball, not today. The giant can stay there. That is interesting. I wonder if Elven is going to do the straight to the bottom of the moon play. There's two ways to approach this. One is to do things like the eyeball and to do the top of the moon so you don't have to walk down the lunar subterrane a second time. The other is, in theory, the lunar altars are supposed to have the best key item return on investment for time that we have available. Elven may be playing purely odds here and saying, I'm going to stake my claim to the bottom of the moon, when we also know that those one-of-one trap chests, like the last arm, have very high potential also. Infinious going to tell us, is the answer up on the last arm or not? And we'll know that very soon, as he's going to plow through that last arm chest.
And did Infinious go to the moon first, or did he go straight to the giant from the raising the whale?
Straight to the giant. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. Do not stop at the lunar dais. Do not peek Cave Bahamut. Right to the last arm chest to the giant. And elvensorrow, going to do the Crystal Sword altar first. Somebody is a gambling man all of a sudden. This is colloquially and memely, we're going to make words up as we go, known as the Demarine play, to go to do the Crystal Sword altar first. And of course, in its truly natural habitat, the one and only Antlion.
It's always wonderful to see her where she belongs. Is this the punchiest spot on the moon? Or is that still Cave Bahamut?
Cave Bahamut. Just a crystal gauntlet from the last arm. Ripperoni. That's my least favorite pizza, and Infinious just ate one.
And so did that Dark Knight Cecil.
Yeah.
Punchiest, may not be the punchiest spot on the moon, but no armor in the front row. You kind of don't care how hard your enemy hits.
Yeah, that was more HP than Cecil's ever going to have. There's a pink tail. Elven hits a key item, but it's not the key item he wanted.
Nah, just some Artemis arrows.
It is, however, interesting. That does represent key item number 10. So for Elven, that does now mean he's going to be getting double XP from everything. So you definitely keep that. And then does he do Behemoths now, or does he just go to the Ribbon Room and play the altar game? He's going to play the Behemoth game, but he is anchored for this, and that is, that's about to be unpleasant. You know that Cecil we just brought back to life?
Not for long.
Yeah, watch what's about to happen here.
Honestly, we're hoping it hits him. We don't need him for the final fight. Rosa's a perfectly good berserker.
I mean, this Behemoth has eyes set on Rosa and Edge, which is very fortunate. Pour himself Zerking is exactly what you wanted. Excuse me, self-blinking is exactly what you want here. And Behemoth down, so Elven does get through and picks up a boatload of XP and is rewarded with a pass. Yeah, that's wonderful in Elven shoes.
Yeah, that's just about the best spot for it. That is an item that you are never sad to receive. Well, almost never. In this flag set, never.
So while Elven is making his way down to floor 7 of the Lunar Subterrane, and Infinious is redoing the cutscene for the Lunar Dais we've already seen for the Yang, I think, once again, I want to thank Nerukad. First time restreaming and doing an absolutely bang-up job of it, not just in the restream aspect, but also the seed rolling aspect. 2 thumbs, way up from this guy. Zald doing a phenomenal job on the tracking, as always. Tracking is the hardest thing to do, while, you know, Scarcer and I just talk about the game up here. And, you know, make sure you give them both a follow, and of course, Scarcer a follow, my co-commentator tonight. Still alive in the round of 16, fighting for his tournament life. Won't say any more than that, but he's in a battle for his tournament life, and it's been exciting to watch. And of course, our runners, elvensorrow and Infinious. Give them your love and support and admiration, both phenomenal runners and people. This game is amazing, and this community is even more amazing.
And don't forget to give the wonderful Possum Morpheus a follow. I've learned most of what I know about this game from him, and he is a wonderful person to commentate with. Thank you, Possum.
My pleasure. Thank you for being in the booth with me as well. It is always fun to do this. Friends or no friends, it's just cool to hang out and talk shop about FE. Big moments happening here, though. Less love in the booth and more love to the runners doing the checks. We are not going to be able to swoon proc these, and that is a little sad, but we have options. We could reset and then swoon proc. We could use size with Rosa. We'll see if we get size. Nope, we are Zerking. This is scary unless we have a Zeus Gauntlet on.
He has exactly a Zeus Gauntlet on. He's fine.
Okay. I would love to see the size spell come out here. I think size is one of the most underutilized spells in Free Enterprise. It not only makes you do double damage, but it also drops the actual defense stat of enemies to 0. So it is wonderful when you're trying to, you know, just run right through these guards. And meanwhile, what was that? A Stardust Rod, I think, from the Red Giant? So nothing on the top
Hasn't
part.
Zod.
True. He does level up to Stardust Rod.
And it looks like overall Infinious is going for the top-down play, which is certainly the play of choice of those who do not have the pass and might not be expected to get it.
Yeah, I think Elvin definitely took the gambler's route on this moon, but at least finding the pass, that's certainly a huge get. And we'll see, this is 2 key item checks. In theory, this is the highest return on investment time-wise for anything you can do on the moon. And there's a Masa and a Mura and lol. That is just not what you want.
I mean, you save the XP at least.
Oh, 100% you save the XP, but the Lunar rewards playing Vanilla Shuffle when you are objectively not looking for them, not what you want. Elvin, meanwhile, down to 1 singular life potion. Scary.
Yeah, with S Pro and all the power from chests. Oh, that looks like vanilla play.
Yep, we got some teleporting there, I believe, or I'm going to have to get my eyes checked. But we went
I think it was teleporting, because otherwise I'd have to get mine checked too.
Okay.
I don't want to pay for new glasses.
we went from the save point to all of a sudden, hey, there's a plague, which I'm guessing is at the vanilla location. So cool. I don't know what that's all about.
It's
but
the only location with this background left, other than give value.
That's a good point, because yeah, he's definitely not at the Murasame altar that Infinious is at.
No, that's one. Oh, gross.
Oh, that pan. That's brutal. I think I would do the Masa altar and then save scum the pan. But boy, oh boy, that's rough. The spoon on the moon from the Mura altar.
That's 3k moon hits, isn't it?
Yes, Pinktail, spoon, and the pan.
So mathematically speaking, it's very unlikely this pays out, right?
Sure. Also, mathematically speaking, you remember that multi-target glare we saw? Yeah. You want to know where you don't want to see a multi-target glare?
At a spot with a 500 damage Fire 2?
That's correct. This Fire 3, by the way, is going to wipe out... Well, no, it's not going to wipe anyone out. It's going to phase change. Oh, it didn't! Cool. Bye, Cecil, for sure. Maybe Porum, too.
He's never coming back.
Bye!
7,000!
So, yeah, by the way, the magic there, not friendly. That's,
And he's going back for it. That's BS3. He's going back for it.
It is a brutal spot. So, going back to, that glare we saw from Wyvern on Hobbs, that glare is based off the magic. There's a slight difference between getting glared for 200 damage and 7,000, or seeing Fire 3s do party-wide like 2,700 damage. So yeah, fun times.
Can you even get a multi-target 2,700 fire hit without hitting weaknesses from a party member?
I don't think so. You'd need like 99 wisdom on someone. Like, I mean, Palom's the most reasonable to do it with, but I don't know. Good luck.
Well, Palom at level 70 with a Stardust Rod hits 90, so you'd need a couple more pieces to get.
Either way, the TLDR on that is you probably saw something just now from this Elements at the Masa altar that you're not going to see very often. So enjoy it. enjoy it more than Elvin did.
I certainly did.
Meanwhile, Infinious is doing the full top-down approach and just plowing through trap chest after trap chest. A crystal ring, that is not what he wanted to see. Elvin is through phase 2 of the elements fight, so he is in a safe spot now. Not before old Ruby took out 2 of his party members and tried to fire 3 his entire party into doom and gloom, but Elvin will be through this fight, and we'll see what awaits us as a reward. We've only got like 2 or 3 more checks left to do between our 2 runners. This pan is becoming increasingly more likely to have value, but Scarcerer, it's your
I
time
love
to
this
shine.
chest. This is one of the easiest chests in the game. That defossil has exactly 10,000 hit points, so even though you hit it for 9s, you gotta hit it again.
That is 4 key items from K Moon spots. That's a sand ruby as well. We are now down to exactly the legend sword and the twin harp that we don't know about. I think you have to chase the pan at this point.
100%.
Yeah, and Elvin is exiting. Yeah, I think this is the right play.
It's a beautiful play either way.
Now, what would be really interesting is if your chest here, Scarcer, has value, and Infinious doesn't have the pass that elvensorrow has, and to see if that would make the difference. Oh, hold on. Elvin is not chasing the pan.
Looks like that might have been a Bahamut orb. My screen got a little blurry for a second.
To answer a question from chat, that is the 4th K Moon spot confirmed in the pool. We have had Pinktail, Spoon, Sand Ruby, and Pan.
Yeah, everything but the Ribbon Room paid out.
Yeah. The Ribbon Room had Masamura. I am very surprised to see Elvin not chasing the pan here. I think that... I'm guessing Elvin is going to do the bottom 3 spots here now. Or the top 3, excuse me. And then I think he's going to be forced to chase the pan without, really having anything left. There's also an increasing likelihood here that the Twin Harp is hard required as well. It could very easily gate the Legend Sword now.
Yeah, this could be the legendary hard required Bimmy and Jimmy. If Bimmy and Jimmy have the Twin Harp.
It could be. We also have Kyrios, a wonderful runner from chat, pointing out it could just be Ordeals.
Could just be vanilla Legend Sword on Ordeals.
Yeah. It could just be Ordeals.
That would be brilliant. That they went through all the trouble to full clear the moon and they could have just gone to Ordeals.
I mean, it would be thematic, though, like if Ordeals had the Twin Harp, which had the Legend Sword, because that would make 3 sets of duplicates in this seed for hard requirements. That would make it a hard required Baron, a hard required Poison Treasury, and then a hard required, wherever the Twin Harp is, if it leads to the Legend Sword. Any of that would be just super funny. Again, for us and for the viewers, not necessarily for the runners who are over there sweating bullets like, what is this? Why do I have to deal with this? Come on, man.
This is a seed they'll be laughing about maybe a year from now. 2 if they had a hard night tonight.
Or for Infinious an early morning, as I believe it is... gosh, probably, 9 a.m. now for him? He started this probably about 7:30 a.m.
Yeah, that's, I commend him for being able to get up that early to play for Enterprise. I've had to get up for noon tracking, and it's like, I hope I'm awake. Alright, Elvin stuck with the inventory boss. 8 items down the drain. Infinious is about to get that pan. And surely Infinious chases this, right? Because he's just done a bunch of trap chests to no avail.
I don't think he does. I think Infinious does Ribbon Room at a minimum after this. I don't see a way you can chase the pan without doing Ribbon Room first. Masa Alter I can see fading, but I don't think there's a chance Infinious chases pan without doing Ribbon first. I could be wrong, but Infinious and I usually play the game a very similar way, and I would be shocked if he chased the pan. And not only is he not chasing it, he's not even saving, just going straight into the Ribbon Room.
You know him well.
Harry's off of Porum's turn.
Maybe he can find the spell he wanted quick enough.
Oh, he has Stone. Stone will help him get through this quicker because he is not anchoring a Rydia, he is anchoring a DKC.
And with this much wisdom here, it gets real close to not missing.
Yeah, Stone's base accuracy is like 30, but with that many multipliers, it would be awful tough to whiff that. With that, now I could see Infinious. No, Infinious, okay, going to go after the Masa Altar as well. Elven, I think, has to exit here and chase the pan now. I just don't see him going back to the bottom of the moon to clear out like the 3 or 4 trap chests. So I think Elven is basically going to be up a Masa Altar here.
Remembering to save.
Yeah, and that's assuming that Infinious gets through this. Oh, Elven, oh, okay. I was wondering if he was going to do the last arm at some point. This is surprising. I thought we would have got the pan checked first, but he is going last arm.
Nope,
he is now resetting.
He's like, wait, if Infinious got this.
That may have been a know your opponent moment. Nope.
He's doing K value. Because
okay.
if that's exactly it, he's in go mode and he needs to, and he doesn't want to come back up.
So I wonder if he's going to do Cave Bahamut and then Pan, or is he going to do Cave Bahamut to last arm? Which I think at that point would put Infinious back ahead, because Infinious is not wiping to this Elements. In fact, Infinious just chewed through with little to no resistance from the Elements. And I think Infinious is going to actually be our first one to get the Pan turned in if he goes to do it immediately. Because he does not have the pass from the Behemoth chest on the way to the Crystal Sword Altar. So, still very, very interesting, this race. We are warping, not exiting. So Infinious not believing in the heart of the cards, saying, Pan, you are not enough for me to go. I need more.
Well, he's about to receive an item he will enjoy and an item he probably won't enjoy.
Yeah, he's going to be all about that pass, but that pink tail ain't it. Meanwhile, maybe it's just all still at ordeals. And all of this is just fun for everyone but the runners.
This is great. Hopefully one of them cleans up ordeals when they go down to do the pan, because this is getting suspenseful.
Infinious going to get his pass there. Elvensorrow taking out the Leviathan at Cave Bahamut, gets a ninja shirt. Infinious going to be plenty happy to see that pass, but also be like, hello, where are my required key items? Big moment here, though. Elvensorrow cleaning up Cave Bahamut, has the Magma Key in hand, still needs a harp or an adamant rock. He is saving, which tells me he is probably off to the last arm chest.
And with that last arm chest just being a piece of crystal equipment, he's definitely resetting right back to where he was. And watching the cutscene again.
Yes. And then he will be left with Luca, Dwarf, which you can't do, Ordeals, or the Pan, which means it has to be the Pan, because the other three have been available since before you went to the moon. So you just have to chase that Pan first. And then you just think to yourself, what would my opponent be most likely to fade? And I think the answer reasonably would be Ordeals.
Yeah.
Infinious is about to get his pigtail.
We haven't seen either Mylon, have we?
Nope.
So we could get a 3/4 vanilla Ordeals.
True, Legend Sword plus Mylon and Mylon. Infinious is going to be our first runner to show us the Pan, though, barring something very odd. Also, that Fission is going to do not a lot of damage to everyone because of dodge rolls. Actually surprised it even hit Cecil. But that's going to be a reset. Infinious going to be turning in the Pan. Has already dropped the Magma Key as well, but did not do Cave Bahamut before leaving the moon. So Infinious is going to have to go back up to do Cave Bahamut, which is a little interesting as well. And Elvensorrow going to follow likely in Infinious's footsteps.
Of course, remembering to drop the key, as he has to do.
I do think with dropping the key here, this tells me that Elven is not going back to the moon immediately for those remaining trap chests. That if he's dropping the key here, he's going to do something else on Earth, which I do think at this point, Elven is probably looking at dropping this Magma Key, turning in the Pan, and going to Ordeals. I don't think you would save there and turn the Magma Key in if you weren't planning on doing something else on the blue planet, because otherwise you could just reset. Or Elven is not chasing the Pan and is peeking Luca. I am astonished and will love to ask him about this in the interview.
He might be thinking of it as being on the way. Because that would be my, coping mechanism here. It's like, oh, it's just on the way. It's just on the way. I'll be fine.
The Pan is a zonk. The dreams of Ordeals, Bimmy and Jimmy, all of that being hard required live on.
And it seems Infinious is betting on those trap chests, resetting right back to the moon and walking away.
And it makes sense because Infinious is saying, look, if it's Ordeals, I've already lost. While we know if it's Ordeals, he very, very much so hasn't lost. But he doesn't know that. So we're going to get, I believe, 1 behemoth and 2 dragon chests here, if I'm not mistaken.
At the very least, 2 dragons, because I didn't see Bimmy, Jimmy, or Jimmy, and here's Jimmy and Jimmy.
Yeah, that is true. We have 3 Jimmys and a Bimmy left to go, and potentially a behemoth. But yeah, I don't know exactly where we stand on all the trap chests, but we have, I think, 2, maybe 3 trap chests total, and Ordeals that we don't know about. So we shall see. Judge Joe in chat, another phenomenal runner in the community, saying no behemoths yet. So I know we found the 1 behemoth on the way to the Crystal Sword altar, but the other two may be at large still.
I saw Infinious take one of the other two. I don't know if he took the second of the other two, and I think Judge Joe might be saying that Infinious has actually checked both behemoths, and that's just another Holy Sword. One for the pile.
The dream lives on. Alicelle's dream of hard required Bimmy and Jimmy.
And Infinious is running past where you would fight that second behemoth, so it looks like this is the last trap chest, and it could just be Ordeals.
Which, if Elvin is on the moon, or excuse me, on the blue planet and going to turn in the pan, he would proximity-wise be very close to Ordeals, while Infinious would finish this off, have nothing left on the moon, I believe. Would also have done Luca and Dwarf, would literally be down to exactly Ordeals, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't done Zot either. That's a good point from chat. But I don't think he would be doing Zod at this point. Well, maybe. Who knows? Because if you're down to Zod and Ordeals, you know, which do you think your opponent's more likely to fade?
That's a difficult question.
I think they're more likely to fade Ordeals. Plus, Ordeals is just so much faster than Zod.
Yeah. I mean, I know who my opponent's more likely to fade, but I also know my opponent.
All right, big moment here. Elvin resetting out. Where does he go? That puts him back down in the sealed cave area. Is this Dwarf? This is Dwarf. That is not great for Elvensorrow. A twin harp is even worse for Elvensorrow. Infinious fans rejoice. Elvensorrow is on a clock, and I believe the time has already run out. I just don't think that between a Cave Bahamut fight and a harp, unless the Legend Sword is exactly on Ordeals and it's awful fast, I don't see how Elvin can get back into this one. It would have to be exactly that, and this Mom Bomb isn't a fast fight either.
But also, it looks like Alicelle's streams might be coming true.
Could be. Bimmy and Jimmy has the twin harp, and we know it is literally a 50-50 that the Legend Sword is either on Ordeals or it's at that twin harp.
Here's the thing. Do you think Infinious is even going to pick up the item from twin harp?
No. There is no reason to, other than memes at this point, which he might. It might be one of those things where he's like, look, this seed was so silly. This was perfectly in the spirit of the tournament for being absolutely nonsensical. Why not just pick up this stupid item? Those wouldn't be his exact words in his head. His inner monologue would have a few swears in there. I'm certain of that. You know, with the fact that we're at an hour 34 on one of these seeds and still a solid 6 or 8 minutes away from finishing between a twin harp cutscene, a flight from the moon, a Z fight, etc. So yeah, there are words that our runners are both saying at the moment.
You know, I think I can hear them now, even though neither of their voices are being broadcasted.
I believe we can just sum it all up in one phrase, and that phrase is murmur, murmur, murmur.
Indeed. Lots of murmur, murmur, murmur.
But here we go. Edge now swinging. That's 9,000 and then 7,000. No shortage of damage from that young lad. And Elvensorrow gets through Dwarf Castle, and he is rewarded with a package. That's not what he wanted to see. So on Elvin's side, I do think for him this has to be Ordeals. By doing the Magma Key on the way down here, by doing Cave Bahamut. Oh right, he's still got to go.
The warrior
he
chest.
The warrior chest. Interesting. This is another one where I'm a little surprised by this, because I would think if this has the answer, you know, my opponent would have been done however long ago. So definitely curious on some of Elvin's late game routing here. You know, very much so looking forward, if he wants an interview post-seed, to find out kind of his inner workings and thoughts on this. He's definitely against the grain, but he played a lot of this seed against the grain, so it might just be how he was approaching this one.
Sort of the idea of cleaning up your fades now that it's the very late game, when you're used to just getting to the late game.
Yeah, and I mean, even some of these seeds, you don't even get to the late game, it's just the mid game.
Those seeds are also a doozy for different reasons.
But we have Infinious saving here just in case. I think this is a just in case save because exactly Golbez exists. I don't know if there's a way for Golbez to actually take out the entire party here, but this would be this would still be an annoying place to get Golbez at. But that being said, Scarcer, we randomize a lot of stuff. What's so special about the Twin Harp?
Well, some of our community members have given Edward a much greater repertoire than his usual harp tune to break the Dark Elf's concentration. I have no clue just how many songs are in the pool, but as the camera fades over to Edward here and he walks to his harp, a tune we will have not heard previously, or maybe have, will play, and us in the commentary booth we'll be quiet so that you all can enjoy it.
Will we? Or will we keep talking and then get removed from the booth?
You're welcome to keep talking,
just
but I'll shut up.
For no reason, just, someone...
And just as the harp song finishes up, we are shown that it was in fact just two ordeals.
Yup. Tragic. So yeah, here's another fun fact. So, hey Scarcer.
Yeah?
What happens when you take Dark Knight's Vessel fully loaded with a bunch of good gear into Ordeals 3?
You lose a bunch of good gear.
Okay. So, fun fact.
Before I do that,
lost a bunch of good gear. Anyway, the end. Hey, wait, chat, hello? There we go. Chat is super delayed. They were so excited about the undertakings and the things that are happening in the seed, they forgot all their Z flags. I was getting very worried for a moment there. They were just shocked and awed. So, Scarcer, why are they shocked and awed, and why are there Z flags and chocobos and everyone all roaring with excitement?
Well, something about Zeromus, I think it's the magic power set by a script, means that it would be very unfair to put him anywhere but his normal final location. So to appease the idea of randomizer, our wonderful developers have curated a pool of, I think, over 500 sprites to replace Zeromus's normal, kind of horrifying sprite with. Which leads to the eternal question, whose butt are we kicking tonight?
Does it have a hat? Is it cute? Yada yada yada.
Can it do my taxes?
Probably. I mean, we don't teach it in schools anymore, so heavens knows we could use a Z to help us.
Yeah, I didn't learn how to do my taxes in school.
Exactly. A Sasuke. More ninja swords, but this is actually a good one. So yeah, yeehaw. We have 6 of 6 objectives for both runners now, but Elvensorrow is down about 90 seconds here. I just don't know how he makes it up. While we are fighting Ultras. Sketch me like one of your French girls.
I seem to have left my art utensils at home. But there's plenty of octopus on the screen.
We have Zerks coming out from Infinious. Angry Edge. Angry Rosa. Angry Porum. No nerfs needed. We just see Infinious going through and absolutely crunching this poor octopus, which is now making me hungry. Between all the salad names and now the octopus on screen, I'm just getting awful hungry. How about you, Scarcer?
Well, I did remember to eat before this, but second dinner sounds great.
Second dinner, always good. We have a Big Bang coming out. It is not nerfed. Doesn't matter.
Rosa can take another.
Yeah, we're likely, the way that this battle is going, we're doing like 11, 14, 15 around. We might see rocks, but it's probably just a skip right through and an insta-kill as Elvin is going through and getting into his Z-fight. I think that was the rocks tip right there, and I think if this hit, maybe the next hit will do it. And, oh, we are getting rocks, so maybe Porum and Rydia dodge, maybe they don't. They dodge. 4 characters are going to survive this. Infinious is your victor. Moving to 2-0 against Elvensorrow. Advancing to the round of 8, where he awaits his fate. And we shall see how Infinious is doing as he has joined us in the booth. GG's Infinious on one heck of a seed, 143-24. How do you feel?
I mean, yeah, that was an interesting seed. Yeah, not wiping to Kanatsu the first time, that was awkward, but I think that was the issue of the theory. The practical was, oh, I've got to, edge wasn't back road. Oops, that this doesn't work. But I think, yeah, this was essentially last locationing. I guess a go mode, because after I had Ordeals and Zot left at that point. Yeah, did feel good. Just like to get out of the W, given that where the Legend Sword ended up being.
Yeah, and I assume y'all have talked already behind the scenes a bit, so you do know the Legend Sword was available the entire time.
Yeah, as the scene was going on, I just seemed okay. This is pop. As I was running out of checks, like, okay, Elvin isn't done yet. I have to assume that Ordeals and Zot are dead. So by elimination, that given that this is now I'm out of checks, it's probably Harp into Legend. In which case, all right, just gotta find it, and didn't think it was on Overworld. And to be fair, it was not like we had a. Given where Gauntlet ended up being, I don't think I had an incentive to go up the mountain at any point.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. You didn't really have the power overwhelming early that you're used to in these seeds either, so it wasn't like you could just roll up to ordeals and, one tap everything or like Avenger Crystal Sword. That power just wasn't really there until you completed Sylph or went to the moon. So,
Mm.
and in your case, I believe you basically last location the Poison Treasury. So for you,
Yeah.
even there was less incentive for doing ordeals. So definitely was, it makes sense as to how you
Yep.
approached it. Just overall, kind of your thoughts on the pre-hook side. Uh, that evil wall into kind of also is a heck of a hook route with limited power. Uh, the edge was okay, but like, were you really hankering for weapons or armor? Were you comfortable with how things were going? Like, kind of just take us through the early part of the game.
Okay, so I think the one mistake in looking back in retrospect was not also not clearing the mad ogres while I was down there in Evelyn the first time around. I think I probably given that okay, sure, only Rosa lived, but I think I could have still gotten away with trying to getting through the mad ogres because I think at that point I had a crystal armor. So I think the odds of those magos actually being able to kill anyone was low anyway. But I didn't want to take the chance of losing out on all the looting and that kind of thing. So so I made that to double dip. Had to come back anyway. I think the way I routed it kind of really worked out because essentially because I got the edge relatively early and then managed to do the silly flame dog giving Baron key, which gave this Earth Crystal. So I mean that dip was required, especially considering Orcor was there in Baron. Yeah, like I said, I think it felt that hook route, while rude, I don't think it was as bad as it initially looked, especially considering I think we had I don't know. I think I had 3 crystal armors at that point, so it wasn't.
Hmm.
So I wasn't too scared about evil, killing my entire party. Like being able to go double crystal armor just means that it's just no. That all those characters get to call a flesh wound. Whoever's got 2 of them anyway in the back row. But that was also why I was also. But seeing that Kanata there, really dictated how I took the Madago fight next because I saw that and I thought, okay, I've only got again. Can we also talk about how unlucky I got to only get 3 Barker's point after all the attempts I made, by the way, including crying. But that was as soon as I saw Kanata, I was like, okay, I have a plan. Because if I berserk edge immediately with an ice weapon and ice weapon and something else and some weapon. And then Zerk Rosa with an ice weapon, some weapon. That should be enough so the first wave doesn't do that much, especially
Hmm.
with considering we had a whole bunch of black belts for sale in Eblin. Again, and that's why I mentioned that the theory was sound because in my second attempt, Edge was doing 3.5 4K round
It was
a
the back
swing.
row.
It was the back row in that case, and
Yeah.
that's just halving that damage when I wiped the first time, and that's kind of unfortunate. To be honest, I should have realized that during the evil wall fight when Edge was doing first swing did 300 and then did 1600. I should have known that something was up at that point. It's like no, something's weird. This is not how that should work. But I was a bit, as I think I was a bit too slow to pick up on that. Oh wait, it's not back road, duh. But like I
Definitely
said, like
appreciate the insight there for that overworld. That was some real good stuff there. Always love to hear kind of the inside of the runner's mind on that.
yeah. Also, leaving Antline until I had exit because until I had on Forum, which was and also just routed in neatly with Gate, then pick up Hovercraft. And for Bull and the Cursed Mountain was stinky because I'll come back if I want to come back. If I have to do them, I will. But at that point, I figured I've got Berserk on 2 characters. I've got a Zerka. I've got a physical party member. It was. I figured that hook route wasn't going to be too much of an issue.
Definitely. Scarcer, any questions for our Victor this evening, Infinious, or this morning for him?
I don't think so. Just GG's on a well-run race, and good luck with Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. The Magic Gathering stuff is just for fun. Like whether we win or not doesn't really matter. It's all about hanging out with friends. This anyway. I mean, yes, in this playgroup, I'm probably the strongest player, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, geez, and I'm looking forward to next round where I expect to take the L and then be out of this tournament. But oh well, the way I see it, I'm already after winning last round. I figure I'm playing with housemate at this point, so it's all good. Also, thank you to both. Right now. So thank you to both Possum and Scarcer for doing comms, thank you Zelda for doing tracking, thank you Nericat for this amazing seed.
Thank you, Infinious. GG's once again our winner. Official time of 1:43:24. And yeah, GG's Infinious. Good luck in the round of 8. Clean sweeping his way through the round of 16. So job very well done, and we look forward to seeing more from you after our break week.
Oh, there's a break week? Oh, right, because of Thanksgiving. Right. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that makes next week even my next scheduling a lot easier. Thank goodness. I was planning
Happy surprises.
Yes. Happy accidents.
Merry Thanksgiving.
Yeah. All right, cheers, everyone.
And with that, we will also see if we can get elvensorrow in for an interview. I know that he is down, but not out for certain. And we'll see if we can discuss some things with him. elvensorrow did end up finishing 147.09. The Legend Sword was from Mount Ordeals. So we shall get his thoughts on everything, as it were, once he is able to join us. Hopefully that will be soon. In the interim, we'll give you all a little bit of information. We are going to be raiding over to Free Enterprise 3 after this, so just a brief heads up for everyone that the FE action is done on this channel, but certainly not done for the night. That Free Enterprise 3 race is ongoing between John Burkhead and Reckless Charlie, but let's see if we can get elvensorrow in for that interview and talk shop with him.
And we are joined by elvensorrow. GG, Elvin.
Oh, thank you. So,
Elvin,
before you guys even ask a question, I'm just going to say this right now. Where the heck is Sid?
I don't know, man.
Where is Sid?
Is he okay?
Oh, he's on the giant?
Yeah. So what happened was he was fighting some Mac giants, and they dropped a cabin, and he just slept in it up there, and he was like, Elvin will come get both this cabin and me when he is good and ready, and then you, sir, just never went and got him. So it kind of sounds like a you problem, not a Sid problem.
Was he actually on the cabin? I mean,
absolutely no idea.
Was he actually on the giant? I checked last time, but
no, neither of you even looked at Giant 1 with how early the gauntlet was.
Oh, because we already did the gauntlet, so there's no point.
There is a mystery 7th character out there somewhere, either at the package or giant, I believe. I think that's the only thing we don't know. I think our tracker might be confirming there was a Sid at the package, but that's neither here nor there. So Elvin, I'm just going to start out. Okay, not confirming, just speculating. Elvin, I just want to ask the question. So, kind not so.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the reaction I expected, so please do tell.
I was just like, I was like, this is not going well, but I just let it go. I let it ride. And then Edge had like 20 HP when I got through. I'm like, okay.
He
it
had
worked.
more HP than he needed.
But yeah, that one I was just like, you know what? Just let it ride, dude. Just let it ride. And it worked out. And I felt pretty good at that point. I felt pretty good. I'm like, heck yeah. But yeah. Then the rest of the seed, I'm like, heck no. That who rolled that seed? Was it
That was
Nerdhead?
Nerukad's first time restreaming and first seed roll for the tournament.
Ugh,
So
Nerdhead.
It was good entertainment.
applause.
That's a good roll. Yeah, like it's so the thing about Omni is like you generally get power overwhelming, but in this seed we really didn't. But we kind of did at a certain point, pretty much after the hook. But then it's like, where are the items? And it was just it was is what it is.
Could you say the whole seed was an ordeal?
Yeah, I could say it was an ordeal. I wanted to chase ordeals early, but I'm like, oh, I bet Infinious is gonna do that early, and then I come back down, and sure enough, dang it.
I did want to ask, once you got back to the blue planet, you opted to, not immediately chase the pan, and you went to kind of clean up some of your fades. You went after, the Luca Key, Dwarf Castle, Warrior Chest. Was there ever any thought to just going like pan to ordeals and fading some of that stuff, or was there the thought of, well, maybe Infinious faded that too? Kind of what was your mindset like at that point?
It was basically like, yeah, like he might have faded this, he might have faded that, blah blah blah. But I don't see him stream that much. But at that point, obviously, I felt behind the whole time, right? But I was like, well, he might not do this, And then yeah, so my routing kind of got a little out of control there. And I don't try to like metagame or anything like that, but like when you feel behind, you feel behind. But I'm like, well, he probably didn't do this, he probably didn't do that, and then it just kind of screwed me up, I guess. I mean, maybe it didn't. That's probably not the reason. He's just a really much better player than I am. But you know what I mean, though. It's just like you're in panic mode. It's win or go home, and guess what? I'm going home. Oh, I'm already home. That was fast.
I mean, I would say that the gap is closer between the two of you than it's ever been before. I know we had talked, and I alluded to this on the stream a little bit, that you were fearful of facing Infinious because something to the effect of, oh, I've never beaten him, blah, blah, blah. But you certainly showed that, even in a loss, that you are much, much closer to him than I think you or many folks may realize. So you did a heck of a job in this series. The races were very close. Even if the result, shows a 2-0 or a 0-2, I think we all know that it was much closer than that.
Yeah, I was actually really glad. It's really fun to race him. Back when ladder was a thing, like he was one of the guys that was always one of my opponents, and that he always had my number, and he still has my number apparently. But it's good that like in the ladder though, like he would beat me like 15-20 minutes, but now it's just a couple minutes. Okay, I'm getting a little better at the game. But yeah. It's GG Infinious, man. Is it spoilers? Do we know who he has next?
We do not.
We do not.
We do not. Hey, Scar Sir. Oh, that's right.
Hi. No, that'll be decided tomorrow. Smile.
Hell yeah. Smile. I mean, heck yeah. Smile.
You already said it too late, friend.
Oh no.
Anyway, moving on. So Elvin, what are, kind of your plans, post-tournament? You're going to take a break, you're going to stream Vampire Survivors, what are you looking at doing? You're going to do G.I. Joe. Where's elvensorrow going to go before the next tournament and during the club season?
Oh, I haven't done G.I. Joe in a while. That's a good call. I haven't made this classification like a speedrun thing, but I've been doing punches only with Captain Gridiron. Maybe I should try to start do that again.
World first,
But-
you heard it here, folks.
But also, what I really should do is relax and find a new job.
Sleep in.
I haven't played G.I. Joe in a while, though. I might turn that back on, though. I might turn that on after we get off this restream. I might, yeah, I might punches only. I might do that after this.
Well, regardless what it is, I'm sure you'll have quite the audience for it. Thank you again for putting on a show, both to you and Infinious. And, you go enjoy yourself after a heck of a tournament run.
Yeah, it was a really good run. I was really hoping to get it to game 3, but unfortunately, I was 3 minutes late or whatever. But I can sleep in tomorrow now, and then I can just watch everyone else play.
One of the best parts about being eliminated is being able to watch everyone else.
It is, because I want to watch someone else that is actually racing right now, but I'm in this conversation.
We'll go do that. We'll probably be raiding over there.
Okay. All right.
Jesus, Elvin.
Thanks, Nerdcad, Possum, Scars for Resolved. Love you guys. Thank you all. Thanks for everything, but I'll see you in the next tournament. I mean, you assumed me before that, but you know.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Elvin. Thank you, Infinious. Both of you, phenomenal run. Everyone, make sure to give them both a follow. Absolutely bang up match between the two of them. Nerukad, thank you for restreaming. Zold, thank you for tracking. Scarcer, thank you for keeping me honest up here in the booth. As we kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, we are going to be raiding over to a race in progress between John Burkhead and Reckless Charlie. That is match number 2 of a potential 3 betwixt the two of them. That's all I got for y'all. No spoilers. You'll get a bonk, things like that. Scarcer, any final thoughts on the seed, on the stream, where we're going, what we're doing?
You know, it was a good race. And GG's to our runners once again. Have a good time, y'all.